When they get done with the brown people, they'll be coming after you. And if you don't think that's true, you got another motherfucking thing coming. This is bigger than you, okay? Because let me explain another thing to you. You sit back and watch millions of brown people be kidnapped and removed from this country. When they do come after you, there's going to be nobody left to stand up for you.
Let me gather mine. Go ahead. I'm gonna take 5. Shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I'm Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week. We expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination and hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Now, in the course of perusing the timeline and seeing all the various reports from the front lines of the protests that are happening nationwide, have seen one refrain that has bothered me, and it could be perfectly synthesized in this one video.
Our black brothers and sisters out there that are the ones that are posting all this, oh, we just gonna mind our business. And I saw somebody earlier making t-shirts of like a group of like 6 black people, black men and women, sitting on a bench texting on phones while the country is burning up behind them. Let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you. When they get done with the brown people, they'll be coming after you. And if you don't think that's true, you got another motherfucking thing coming. This is bigger than you, okay? Because let me explain another thing to you. You sit back and watch millions of brown people be kidnapped and removed from this country. When they do come after you, there's going to be nobody left to stand up for you. And when they're coming after you, how are you going to feel when people are sitting on the sideline like, oh, we just going to mind our business? F all this other dumb shit. Man, no. It's not the time for that. Power to the people. It's time to come together.
Let me gather mine. Go ahead. I'm gonna take 5.
The fact that white people have the caucasity, audacity to comment, to have any type of thoughts on how a black person shows up in this country in the year 2025 in regards to protesting is stupid. Waking up and living a full life in this country and trying not to let it get you down as a black person in America is protest enough for me. Also, I voted for Kamala in November. So I did my part. The rest of y'all sat around, made excuses, and let your racism get us here. So if we as a collective choose that we don't want to be involved, shut the
There was one more thing too, because he mentioned if they're free to remove all these brown people, they're coming for you, which is, as I mentioned at the outset, something that we know and understand.
You sit back and watch millions of brown people be kidnapped and removed from this country. When they do come after you, there's going to be nobody left to stand up for you.
It's one thing that's been a part of my frustration with all of this content is how my rights are actively been affected by virtue of people's inaction or moving against their own best interests last year. So already affected. Ain't no wait. Ain't no they're coming. Ain't no wait. We're already affected by what they did. But here's something I want you to keep in mind. I would love to know how y'all telling black people where to go as a white voting bloc, as a Latino voting bloc in November for $2 Donnie because of the economy, whatever the case may be. Y'all telling us where to go in November and then turning around when the ramifications of those actions come to fruition, which we understood, then turning around and pointing the finger at black people for what they are and aren't doing, and they are and they aren't saying, despite the fact that many are there. How exactly does that inform this newfound coalition that you now want to build, like the one that we've been trying to build it the whole time, and it went all the way left in November. Yeah. So we tried to build a nice little team in November, and then we realized that, you know, some people couldn't be trusted. Now all of a sudden the same people turn around and want to build it again, but then we get apparently the blame for things going left before. How does that play for coalition building? I would love to know.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
Now let me start big picture. I just want to start big picture. Do you think that the anger and the frustration that underlines that sentiment is because people are unaware of that fact? Do you think people are unaware, based on the historical realities of this country and all the things we talk about all of the time, aren't aware of our place in all of this? And with the understanding that we're aware that what befalls other people will eventually befall us, or in many cases initially befall us, right? When America catches a cold, black people get pneumonia. That's something that we talk about all the time. Given that reality and people's at large unwillingness to move to their own benefit, and certainly not ours, you think that might inform people about how they move going forward? You think you telling us something?
My black brothers and sisters out there that are the ones that are posting all this, oh, we just gonna mind our business. And I saw somebody earlier making t-shirts of like a group of like 6 black people, black men and women, sitting on a bench texting on phones while the country is burning up behind them. Let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you. When they get done with the brown people, they'll be coming after you. And if you don't think that's true, you got another motherfucking thing coming.
First of all, we were first. They never stopped coming for us. Ever. You don't know what it's like because you seem to be a clear guy, a Caucasian guy underneath that stupid poo shiesty mask. You don't know what it's like to live in skin like this. They never stop coming for you. When you walk outside, when you go into an establishment, if you get pulled over for a traffic stop, they never stopped. After slavery was abolished, we had Jim Crow. They never stopped. It's just always repurposed and repackaged, but they've never stopped coming for us.
I'm Baba Akil, Black Lives Matter, LA. There's an African saying, if you see a crow eating your neighbor's corn, shoo it away. Because tomorrow it'll be eating your corn. And so I and others have to be here to protect not only immigrants, but to protect innocent people who have done nothing wrong and who have committed no crimes. Our outrage and our frustration is being met with repression and oppression. These people are trained to control and suppress, whether they're the LAPD or the National Guard. And so their presence here only adds to a worsening condition.
Does the energy feel the same as 2020 or different?
No, even more so, because the outrage that people felt from the murder and martyrdom of George Floyd was like, how could that happen? That happened, it looked like someplace else. But now, it's right on your own streets. People in your own community and neighborhood are being snatched up by federal people with masks on. And so it touches you differently, and you feel differently. You feel more intense about it. You feel more passionate about it. And that's why I think people are here. And that's why they've expressed themselves like they have.
Now that was Baba Akili, the National Field Coordinator for Black Lives Matter Grassroots and the Director of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute. But he is far from the only one that has taken to the streets.
Thousands showed up, 70 were arrested, and guess who the majority of the 70 were? Have you seen the footage? Guess who the majority of the 70 were? Mind you, one of the black women that was being arrested was saying that it was worth it for solidarity. And I thought that was interesting considering that there were so many police, there were so many protesters, and as the police are taking her away, the protesters are just minding their business. They see it happening. They're just minding their business. How did the cops get to her? With thousands of people there. Thousands. They were easily able to get to her, and it's all just a peaceful, okay, arrested, let's go. She's talking about solidarity, which we should have, right? But they didn't even try to stop it. This is crazy because it's reminding me of the community walk that they had. What, was it a month ago? And the bouncy house conversation. Thousands of them saw this woman getting arrested, didn't protect her. That's why we said stay home.
And then there's this. I admire anyone going out and protesting, but ever since the racial protests in 2020, the police treat the protests as a modern day purge event. And to me, it's not exercising any rights when those in charge got a green light to end anyone within sight. Now, one thing I can say is that I am not somebody that has sat up here and advocated for people specifically not to hit the streets, but I've also not told people to hit the streets because of what can befall folks when we en masse hit the streets, something that we haven't seen this year yet in either of the mass protests where this has been the sentiment online amongst many. Keep that in mind. Another thing is I'm extremely sensitive to how people process where we are right now as a country. You want to talk about standing up for your brother. While I haven't used my platform in any specific direction with regards to protests, I have when it comes to resistance, and I certainly was last year. Who do you think was doing all of that work looking out for their brother last year? And that's just 1 year. We can go back, I don't know, hundreds when it comes to us being out there and doing the work for our brother. But now, all of a sudden, you are laser focused on what black people are doing. And that's aside from the fact that we aren't the ones that orchestrated this. We aren't the ones that carried this out. But those people also have a freedom to step in. Now, don't they?
I have been struggling on how to say this. And I made a video earlier, I took it down, but y'all are focusing on the wrong people. Y'all are focusing on why don't black people care what Trump is doing? We do. But we're focusing on us and ourselves to survive through this. What y'all need to be focused on instead of, well, why aren't black people actively protesting and doing all the things that they usually do? One, because we told you we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, we told you. Y'all didn't listen. Two, because we can't help you as much as the people you need to help you. Okay? You need white people. You're focusing on black people, you need to focus on white people. You need to get their attention, their compassion, their empathy, their social and political power. You're focused on the wrong people. You're focused on the wrong demographic. Black people don't make up the vast majority of this country. We don't make up the vast majority of politicians. We are not in the White House. I'm telling you, you need to focus on white people and getting them to actively care and campaign and protest in your name, in your favor, and leave black people alone.
So let me get this straight. We had to listen to all the think pieces prior to the election about what black people will and won't do, who black people will and won't support, step up and end up being the strongest single voting bloc to prevent all of this. And now we are getting the fingers pointed for not being man on the street to prevent the thing we already tried to prevent, aside from the fact that this affects everybody, but we are the ones that everybody wants to clock.
I've been hearing about other minorities asking black people to show up and protest against ICE. Ask the Asians instead. Our shit's already being rocked. The working class ones are going to be targeted by ICE just like the Latino community. Hell, a bunch of us are already being deported and often to the wrong country. And then as for the richer ones, Trump has already banned all Chinese students from coming to the US to study. and has banned all international students from coming to Harvard, which affects a whole lot of Asian international students. So anybody who looks Chinese, even if they're a US citizen, is going to be affected by this. He's put several South Asian countries on the travel ban list. So yeah, brown Asians are going to be affected too. Anyway, our voting numbers look very similar to Latinos. Just over half of us voted for Kamala and the rest went for Trump. We couldn't just fucking listen to black people when they told us to vote for the black lady who wasn't going to take all our civil rights away. And now we want them to come save our asses when they're getting whooped? Also, have you maybe considered that the feds want black people to show up to the protests? Because then they have an excuse to escalate the violence. Then they have an excuse to call them riots. We saw what happened with the peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd was killed by a policeman. Also, if you've been paying any attention at all, black people have been showing up to support Latinos who are potentially being deported. Look at all the videos from Compton. Just type Compton in your search bar. So why don't we do this? Why don't we let black people make their own decisions? Stop expecting them to be your personal avengers. Mobilize the Asians. I know that if I'm in front of a cop at a protest, he's going to think twice about doing anything to me. He's not going to give me the same grace as a white person, but he's definitely going to give me more than he gives a black person. And if you can't go to a protest, just fucking say something, especially if you live in California. Asians, I know there's a lot of you over there.
Huh. So the police would react differently to her. That is a novel concept now, isn't it?
Latinos, you know, us black people not protesting with you is keeping you all alive and safe, to be honest with you, because this present administration is already ready to declare martial law. And the one thing that we have learned from history is that racist white folk get agitated if they see a group of black people marching and protesting something. Definitely. Do you know the magnitude of danger it would put you all in if we out there? See, history has already proven how the white power structure feels about black people protesting. I've done numerous videos showing what happened during the civil rights movement. See, they haven't pulled out water hoses and dogs in a very long time. But see, you don't know what this president is capable of. And I'm telling you now, you complain and talking about you want us out there with you. No, you don't. Because the one thing that white America hates more than Latino people is black people. History has shown it. So again, we're going to keep praying for you. But you don't really want us out there. Because I'm telling you, if hundreds of thousands of black people get together out there in them streets with you, you're going to be in danger, baby.
Now, I know there will be those that are watching who feel like that is overstated and hyperbole, but one of the reasons why I have been very intentional about not actively telling people to hit the streets is specifically because of cases like what we saw in Lincoln Heights, where there was an intentional inflammation of a black community, which is something that we have seen repeatedly in 2025. You see a black community or black people at large that are being provoked while you have an administration that has already not only said he would use the military against civilians, but has deployed the military against civilians. Now, a curious person would say, this kind of feels like a trick bag. And if they want to sit and watch exactly how things develop before they put themselves in harm's way, well, given all of the backdrop, given having done all of the work on the ground to prevent this, I could understand that, especially considering we're not talking about a permanent shift. What's really insane is even on social media, black people are expressly saying that this is a temporary feeling because they're tired. Black people have shown no signs of abandoning the political process. And you have to ask yourself too, when you saw that there were people that were a part of the community most affected that pushed for this, whether they are hitting the street, because I have yet to see that content.
Why aren't black people helping Latinos riot against ICE in LA? Let's talk about it. There are three types of black people who are sitting these protests out. Number one, the black Trump supporter who voted for deportations. Number two, the Kamala Harris supporter who voted overwhelmingly for Kamala, and then saw that Latinos overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and they're like, y'all need our help now? Oh, hell no. And number three, the older black people who are like, what are y'all up to?
Now, she did mention black MAGAs, and it is worth noting that there are far less black MAGAs than there are Latinos for Trump. As I just outlined, I don't see the call for Latinos for Trump to be on the streets and on the front lines. But when it comes to the black MAGAs, one thing we know about them is they are extremely loud.
Let me fix my bow tie. We at the White House? We back in here. We waiting on President Donald J. Trump. Yeah. Big time. I look so good in the red hat.
Certainly louder than their numbers would suggest.
Oh, and there might be one other type of black person too. The kind of black person that hears something like this.
I don't think black people have a right to tell white people or Hispanics what they can and cannot say. And that means if a black person wants to use the N-word, that means a white person also can use the N-word, because all lives matter, not just Black Lives Matter. So with that said, we need to stop cancel culture. It is anti-American. It is anti-free speech. And if you can say the N-word, so can I, whether you like it or not. It doesn't affect your freedom, but you're sure affecting mine by telling me that I can't say it because I'm not black. So make the N-word great again.
Okay, well, how about we make ICE great again too, bitch?
So let me get this straight. So we get to stand in the gap, put ourselves on the front lines to prevent what has befallen you, with the very clear understanding that our fates are irrevocably tied. You get to say, F you, we're not being led by this black woman, we're gonna vote for the felon. And then when the chickens come home to roost, you want to blame us for not standing on the front lines, despite the fact that a great number of us are there, and want to use that time to make sure you have the freedom to drop slurs.
It's a little weird that not only are Latinos pressed, but white folks are asking, why aren't black people out there protesting? Y'all usually ask, why are we protesting? It's almost as weird as this roll-off full of rocks that just so happen to be right in LA, right where the riots are, all cut off evenly, no construction around, just so happen to be there so people can start throwing them. Is that why y'all want black people out there? So y'all can get staged video footage to roll on cable news all night long showing unity and violence against Trump? Stop trying to use us.
Now, speaking of that, I actually already did a whole 30-minute plus video about Fox News propaganda, specifically with regards to the riots.
Because you're not alone. We see why Trump is necessary, because who are the rioters? Remember the tens of thousands of men that flowed across the border, almost all entirely men. Where did they go? I mean, I guess some were deported, but most of them, they're not deported yet. So, I mean, these are the Biden riots.
Now, imagine if they had some more black faces to put on the front of that, what they could do. They still using footage from 2020.
And all I keep hearing is, blacks and browns, we got to stick together. Blacks and Latinos, we're brothers, we're one. Okay, well, I'm going to need you to have that outlook for more than just rioting and violence. I'm going to need you to have that in the job market too, because blacks can't get a job in LA. Latinos hire Latinos, whites hire Latinos. If you don't come to LA already in a job that moved you to LA, or you own your own business, you're not working in LA. You know who's working in LA? All the people that they want us to protest to come here. So black people, the next time you're asked, why aren't you out there protesting with the Palestinians or with illegal immigrants? Just let them know you put in the same amount of effort that they put in to get black reparations.
Did somebody say reparations?
See, it's stuff like this is the reason why my people ain't marching for y'all. Listen closely.
Over equality. Wait your turn. And to those young raza who want to believe that, you better turn your TV, brother. You better turn your radio.
What do you think about these Black Lives Matter that they want to be paid for being, slaves and all that?
Reparation. Are you talking about reparation? Well, I heard they passed in North Carolina.
Yes.
But it was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it.
That's what we, the raza, need to step up, protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody get reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first. We've been going through this crap a lot longer, so I don't want to hear it. Because it's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group?
Because right now they've got the white people with so much guilt.
Now, I can't speak to the job market in LA, although I have seen some things floated around. One thing I can speak to, though, is that idea of unity, that idea of coming together and saving one another. That idea needing to be for more than violence and protesting. And that is real. And I will also add that I, for one, have been heartened by the many protests that we've seen across the country. I feel like it's been a strong show of strength. I feel like it's been something that Donald Trump has taken note of and something that has bothered him. It hasn't led to anything substantive at this particular point in time, which is obviously what we need, strong opposition. However, one thing I won't do is dictate how people process where we're at and what has happened. Because this idea that we are in survival mode and certain precautions must be taken is true. It's also perpetual. And we were acting out of that this entire time. And many of us still are. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. As I mentioned on last Tuesday night's live,
I try and avoid any vigorous exercise or anything that will cause me to lose my enhancements.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the other thing. But while we're on the topic, y'all stay safe out here. This ain't the same sun that we grew up with.
I did not sign up for this. When I prayed during the winter months, I asked the Lord to make it warm. I did not say, Lord, please bring the devil from hell and have him sit his ass crack on earth. That's not what I asked for.
As I mentioned on last Tuesday night's live, I am a bit of a perfectionist and I have a tendency to tinker with videos until they're ready to go out to the public. But that means there's so much content that you guys haven't gotten a chance to see. So for you members, I'm going to start pushing out director's cuts of some of my videos. So be on the lookout for a new flood of content. I just love you. There is a link to membership in the description box to all of the videos. And that also will be the case for those of you that have joined my Patreon over at patreon.com/Reese Waters. Now, so many of you guys sent me so many incredible cuts of music for me to integrate into my videos, and I have started doing that. So keep your ear out for some new music, and sincere thank you to everybody for being a part of this community and making it everything that it has become. And while we're on the topic, I want to give a very special shout out to Goshen, who's been making it rain in all of the premieres. A sincere debt of gratitude to you. It kind of reminds me of when we reached 400,000 subscribers and we had that live and Jackie James and Nancy made it rain that whole time. And we're creeping pretty close to another milestone now, aren't we? Yeah, 500, 50%. Yeah, that's always been special to me because when I was a teenager, when I would go out and get a phone number, it was a 50% chance that it was a real home. Or like a gas station or the library or something like that. Those were the days.